Welcome to modern residential design. Quonset Hut Home is a prefabricated house with a semicircular curved roof design made of corrugated steel. Originally a military barracks, this structure is now popular as a strong, durable, and cost-effective modern housing. Today, we explore the interior of a truly luxurious Quonset hut. We focus entirely on the art of interior design, spatial planning, and careful curation of materials that transform a corrugated steel shell into an absolute masterpiece of upscale contemporary living. The central living area, or the great room, is the beating heart of the Quonset home. Here, the designer faces the most profound challenge of curved architecture: furniture placement. In a standard luxury home, furniture is often anchored against flat walls. In a Quonset hut, pushing a square sofa against a curved. The layout here is anchored by a massive, custom-woven New Zealand wool rug, which acts as an island of texture upon the smooth micro-cement floor. Placed deliberately in the center of this island is a curved, low-profile sectional sofa. Notice the height. By keeping the backrests low to the ground, the designer ensures that the sweeping upward momentum of the ceiling remains entirely uninterrupted. The sofa itself is upholstered in a rich, deeply tactile velvet, providing a necessary soft counterweight to the hard architectural lines. Because the furniture floats centrally, the perimeter of the room, where the arch meets the floor, is left open. This negative space is crucial. It acts as an architectural breathing room. To prevent this perimeter from feeling empty, the designer has introduced an array of massive, organic indoor plants, towering fiddle-leaf figs, and sculptural olive trees. The natural curvature of the branches echoes the curvature of the steel, while the vibrant green foliage injects life and vibrancy into the muted, earthy color palette of the room. In a space defined by a continuous industrial shell, the interior material palette must work incredibly hard to introduce warmth, human scale, and sensory richness. This is what we refer to as the alchemy of textures. The foundational layer of this home is the floor. Rather than using conventional wood planks, which can clash with the sweeping geometry, the designer opted for a continuous poured microcement. It features a subtle, cloudy finish that resembles natural limestone, providing a solid, grounding base. But microcement can feel cold, so the walls and cabinetry introduce incredible warmth. Massive feature walls, used to separate the private quarters from the public spaces, are clad entirely in custom fluted European oak. The deep, three-dimensional vertical ridges of the wood grain draw the eye upward, celebrating the height of the vault, while the rich, golden brown tones radiate visual warmth. To finish the arched ceiling, standard drywall is abandoned in favor of a specialized hand-troweled acoustic plaster. This plaster has a subtle, velvety sheen that catches the light beautifully, but more importantly, it serves a critical functional purpose. It absorbs sound waves, preventing the annoying, echoing acoustic bounce that plagues cheap metal buildings. The result is a space that sounds as luxurious as it looks. A home that feels incredibly quiet, calm, and insulated from the chaos of the outside world.
Designing a luxury kitchen is an exercise in balancing uncompromising functionality with immaculate aesthetics. But when your walls are curving aggressively inward, the standard rulebook of kitchen design is thrown out the window. The inclusion of upper wall cabinets is geometrically impossible and visually disastrous in a Quonset hut. The design solution? You must embrace horizontal expansion and monolithic anchoring. The centerpiece of this culinary sanctuary is an astounding 18-foot-long monolithic island carved from a single continuous block of honed Italian Arabescato marble. This island does the heavy lifting for the entire kitchen. Because there are no upper cabinets, the island features ultra-deep drawers on both sides, providing a staggering amount of storage. It houses the primary wash station, an integrated dishwasher, and a flush-mounted induction cooktop, By utilizing an advanced pop-up downdraft ventilation system, the designer eliminated the need for a bulky overhead range hood, ensuring the visual purity of the arched ceiling remains flawless. The rear wall of the kitchen, placed against the flat end of the Quonset structure, features floor-to-ceiling cabinetry finished in a cutting-edge, ultra-matte nanotech material. This surface absorbs light and resists fingerprints, maintaining a sleek, pristine appearance. The refrigerator, the freezer, and the wine preservation columns are all panel-ready, meaning they are completely hidden behind these matte black doors. When not in active use, the kitchen ceases to look like a utilitarian cooking space. Instead, it transforms into a sophisticated architectural installation, a dramatic, dark anchor against the bright white curve of the vault. When your home features an entire facade made of glass, a necessity to bring natural light deep into the tunnel-like structure, you must have absolute control over illumination and privacy. In a luxury context, standard blinds or simple roller shades are entirely inadequate. The scale of the space demands a theatrical, monumental approach to window treatments. The designer selected custom, motorized drapery that spans the entire 20-foot height of the front curtain wall. Made from a heavily weighted, double-lined Belgian linen, these drapes do far more than just block the sun. When fully opened, they stack elegantly against the edges of the arch, framing the landscape outside like a magnificent painting. When closed, they transform the great room into an intimate, enclosed cocoon. Furthermore, the immense volume of heavy fabric acts as an exceptional acoustic dampener, absorbing ambient noise and enhancing the high-fidelity sound of the home's integrated audio system. Watching these massive curtains glide silently across the glass at the touch of a button is a daily, deeply satisfying experience of luxury automation.
One of the greatest spatial advantages of a Quonset hut is the immense vertical volume at the apex of the arch. To leave this space unused is a missed opportunity, but to partition it poorly is a design tragedy. The introduction of a mezzanine level must be handled with architectural grace. It can't feel heavy or block the flow of light. It must appear to float effortlessly within the void. The mezzanine in this residence serves as a private, secondary lounge and executive workspace. It is accessed via a bespoke mono-stringer floating staircase that is in itself a piece of functional sculpture. To ensure the mezzanine does not visually suffocate the ground floor, the flooring deck is engineered to be ultra-thin, supported by concealed steel beams. The edge of the loft is protected not by a solid wall or heavy railings, but by a continuous run of ultra-clear, low-iron structural glass. This transparent barrier provides necessary safety while maintaining a completely unobstructed visual connection between the upper and lower levels. Sitting in the mezzanine lounge, you are afforded a sweeping, eagle-eyed view of the entire architectural layout below, a perspective that emphasizes the grand scale and impeccable symmetry of the home. While the great room is designed to inspire awe, the master bedroom is designed to inspire profound rest. The psychology of curved architecture plays a fascinating role here. The sweeping arch overhead instinctively triggers a primal sense of safety, protection, and enclosure, akin to being nestled safely inside a protective shell or a high-end luxury tent. To maximize this psychological comfort, the designer has utilized a distinctly moody, deeply saturated color palette in the private quarters. The walls transition from the bright white of the living area into a rich, deep slate gray. The furniture is kept exceptionally low to the ground. An oversized platform bed, upholstered in highly tactile charcoal boucle fabric, anchors the space. By avoiding tall headboards or massive armoires, the room honors the downward slope of the arch. Instead of building a separate drywall box for a closet, which would ruin the geometry, the designer created a functional separation using a freestanding curved wooden slat wall placed behind the bed. This slatted screen allows light and air to pass through, maintaining the feeling of openness while effectively hiding a luxurious, custom-fitted boutique-style dressing area directly behind it. It is a masterful example of zoning space through design, rather than relying on rigid, traditional walls.